BEd in Technology, Engineering and Graphics. And we have three speakers. I'm going to bring them in now. Charlotte Holland, who is a professor, Dean of the DCU Institute of Education, Dr. Niall Seary and Dr. Ronan Dunbar from TUS Technological University, Shannon. So I just bring you all in now. I see Ronan here, promote to panelist, he's coming in, and Niall, I don't see Niall.
No,
Niall's not coming.
I don't think Niall's going to join us. Ronan is here instead of Niall.
Okay.
So myself and Ronan are delighted to be with you here this afternoon, and we still have some participants here, so that's also very good news. People here to hear about this new degree in technology, engineering and graphics. What we might do is share the screen. We have a presentation on the program. Fascinated, by the way, by Lorraine's presentation, a whole other dimension
Totally.
In terms of the technology aspect of what we do. And I've no doubt I can see Ronan's keenness. It's a shame Lorraine had to shoot off because we probably had a few questions for her.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay, look, so while I'm sharing the screen, Ronan, you might introduce yourself. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll just mute myself here now and stop my video. But don't forget, this recording will go to everybody who registered, because I know there was a big interest in this.
I think you're muted now. Ronan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can indeed. Jack, can you hear me?
Yeah, hear you perfectly. So I think we're ready to go. For those of you that have been waiting patiently on us, thank you for staying with us. We're very excited. We're delighted to be here this afternoon to talk about this new program. Ronan, do you want to give a brief introduction to yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Ronan Dunbar. I'm based in the Technological University of Shannon on the Athlone campus. We are absolutely delighted to be going into partnership with DCU to offer this new Bachelor of Education in Technology, Engineering and Graphics. It's where I came from. I graduated from my degree as a technology, engineering and graphics teacher. I'm really excited to getting back into the area of teacher education in this area, and we're delighted to be here this evening to talk to some hopefully eager participants.
Okay, thank you for that, Ronan. Just to introduce myself, I'm Professor Charlotte Holland. I'm Deputy Dean here at the DCU Institute of Education. And as Ronan has already said, this program is developed through a partnership of two universities, Dublin City University and the Technological University of the Shannon, Midlands and Midwest. We won't forget that, Ronan. So really just to get started, this program was accredited by Dublin City University back in December of 2021, so just at the latter end of last year. It's subject to the accreditation of the Teaching Council, so we're going to foreground by saying that. What that means is we need to wait for the outcome of the review of this program by the Teaching Council in order to state which Leaving Cert subjects are recognised from the degree programme. Our expectation is that it's going to get recognition for technology, engineering and design and communication graphics subjects. But of course, we can't say that with certainty until the Teaching Council review the programme, which there should start that process around about April, and hopefully we'll have it completed by June. So just to talk a little bit about the program here, we've talked through the first bit there really. The program is built, I suppose, around four components. So because it's a teacher education program, we have to cover what are called foundational studies modules. So these are modules like the philosophy of education, psychology, sociology, we do a bit of history, in terms of the education landscape. And we also cover content, such as curriculum, education for sustainable development, very topical, and inclusive education. The program also covers what are called professional studies modules or courses. And within this, we cover areas such as how to teach, teaching and learning approaches, how to assess learners, We talk about things like the Leaving Cert, which all of you are embarked on at the minute, the journey to the Leaving Cert. So we talk about that, and junior certificate assessment as well. And we talk about you as a teacher, you know, what your identity is as a teacher, and also the role of research within that. The third dimension in terms of the education part of the programme is school placement. So while you're with us, you're obviously going to spend a substantive period of time practicing your teaching, learning and assessment skills within school settings. And we'll talk about that later on. Ronan can speak to the fourth dimension of the course, which actually amounts to over half of the course in total, Ronan, which are the subject specialisms.
Yeah, so as Charlotte has suggested, the programme speaks to three second level subjects: engineering, technology, and design and communication graphics. So these three subjects sit within the suite of technology subjects that are offered at second level. And I suppose to try and put them under one umbrella, if you were to look at the syllabi or the subject specifications for these subjects, what they strive to achieve is to give students this whole area of ability, which we put under the phrase of technological capability. And technological capability isn't just about what you might think engineering is, for example, or what technology is, for example. It's really about asking ourselves, how do we use the resources that our planet provides us with to respond to the needs of society, but doing that with key factors such as sustainability, such as innovation in mind. So sometimes these subjects get painted with the old vocational type, preparing students to undertake a trade or to get out into the world of work straight after their Leaving Cert, etc. But there are key skills involved in the learning that takes place in these really dynamic and exciting learning environments that these subjects offer, that are really being coined as the key skills or the future skills that students need to be adaptive, to be problem solvers, to be good communicators. If you look into an engineering classroom, a technology classroom, a DCG classroom in a second level school, students are working collaboratively in groups, etc. And that is very much the approach that we will take in this teacher education program as well. It'll be an applied, dynamic, group-based learning environment where you'll be engaging in a mode of learning that will allow you to bring your personal interest area into your learning. So that's the beauty of what technology allows us to do. Like, technology is everywhere that we look now. And technology education allows you to use these subject areas to actually visit your personal areas of interest. So they're subject areas that I'm very, very passionate about. And I believe that anyone can really integrate their own interest areas into this type of learning. And that they don't need to be looked upon as just the kind of the really practical vocational type subjects that they maybe once were within our education system.
Yeah, thank you for that, Ronan. And, you know, a phrase that Ronan and his colleague often use, his colleague Niall Seary, is, you know, the designerly activities that you get involved in. And Ronan, I'll give a wonderful example. I think you talked about it as well, about, and this is my very poor way of articulating what is said beautifully, about an activity that was undertaken for students in their homes, were racing cars. They developed an app to race cars against each other on a circuit that was in a different location. Am I correct in that?
It's not one I'm familiar with. Niall,
it's not one that you, it must be Niall.
Yeah,
so
Niall
it's fascinating, that notion of remotely being able to send cars around a circuit. Yeah. And part of this course prepares you to do just that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, internationally, this subject area is commonly referred to as the whole area of design and technology, because Design is integrated into each of these subject areas. It's very evident, obviously, in the title of Design and Communication Graphics. But within the 3 subject areas, design actually exists, but just in 3 different forms. So within Design and Communication Graphics, because there is no constraints on the participants within that subject to actually have to manufacture what it is that they're designing, the design process tends to be quite abstract, and you can actually design with great freedom. Because you're designing and your output is a prototype in the form of a sketch or in the form of a 3D CAD model, etc. So it's quite an abstract design process that you go through in that subject area. In engineering, then, the design process is quite a cyclical design process. So by its nature, engineering tends to design an artifact, test, evaluate, redesign that artifact, etc. And in technology, the phrase that we put on it is an iterative design process. So it's where you, even before you might make the actual artifact itself, you actually go through this over and back process where you'll come up with a concept, you'll develop a cardboard model. And from that cardboard model, you might find that the scale and the aesthetics aren't quite right. So you'll go back to the drawing board, etc. And maybe your next prototype might be a little bit more advanced in terms of it being a 3D CAD model of your iterated design, etc. So design runs through each of the subject areas as a key activity. And I think it's what makes the subject area really exciting, because that's where students of these subjects get to bring their own personality, their own interest areas into it, but also be really innovative and dynamic in terms of how they see the world, let that perspective influence then how they use the different technologies within each of these subject areas to strive to make a difference in this world we live in.
Okay, thank you for that, Ronan. Unfortunately, I don't seem to be able to go back here. So I'm going to just go back a slide, because I want to talk to you now about the structure of the program. So as we said, we're delivering this teacher education program through a partnership of 2 institutions, DCU and the Technological University of the Shannon, on their Athlone campus. So how does it work? How do you work with 2 institutions undertaking a degree program? Well, in the way we've designed it, in the first 2 years of the program, you're based on the 2 Athlone campus. So for year 1 and year 2, you're going to be located in Athlone. And during that time, you'll do predominantly modules that Ronan was talking about there. So you'll do modules or courses connected with technology, engineering, design and communication graphics. There's a whole range of them. And we, from DCU, we're going to deliver in Athlone some of those education modules I talked about, because we call this a wedge module. In first and second year, we want to build your confidence and your competence in the subject specialisms before we move in to really prepare you as a teacher. So we have a lot of experience here in DCU and teacher education, and we find over the years that if the students aren't confident and competent in the subject specialisms, they can find it quite difficult to teach those subjects, even as a student teacher. So this program has been engineered, no pun intended, in a particular way, so that by the time you finish in Athlone at the end of year 2, you're going to be very comfortable and very knowledgeable, and you're going to have a very good skill set in those subject areas of technology, engineering, and design and communication graphics. So by the time you come to the 3rd year of the program, where you're going to be based in Dublin, so you're going to be in Dublin, or rather in DCU primarily for year 3 and year 4 of the program. And you're going to do mainly education related modules while you're in Dublin. So how does that work? Well, what we've done is we've pulled all the taught modules into what we call semester 1. It's really from September through to December of year 3 and year 4. You're going to be attending college here in Dublin City University, where I'm based at the minute, mainly on the Drumcondra campus. So, and in semester 2, which is from January to April of 3rd and 4th year, you're going to be predominantly located in schools, second level schools, where you're going to be teaching the subject. Now, those schools can be anywhere in the country. So we'll travel to see you practice as a teacher and to help you develop over 3rd and 4th year as a passionate teacher, somebody who is going to champion the teaching and the education of learners who are taking the technology, engineering, and design and communication subjects. So what we've also designed, Ronan, I don't know if you want to speak to this one. I'm happy for you to speak to this one, is some placement possibilities and opportunities.
Yeah, I think it's an especially exciting and interesting element of this program. And anyone that we spoke to about the design of this program, we got a lot of commendation around the idea that we would have an industrial placement integrated as an option into the summer between 3rd and 4th year. I think as a cohort of graduates from this program, to be able to go out into secondary schools with that perspective of what is actually happening in industry. It's industry, we're not serving industry through technology education, but industry gives great context for our subject areas. There are a lot of very cool and interesting things going on out in research and development departments within industry. And it never ceases to amaze me when I walk into manufacturing environments or some really dynamic engineering companies, the level of innovation and really exciting technology that's being used there for any number of different applications. So I think this is a really exciting opportunity for student teachers to be able to bring that to the classroom. There will be very lucky teenagers sitting in these teachers' classrooms that will have real context to their learning, because these teachers will have such a broad range of expertise from their degree program, but also that link to reality in terms of what is happening in the world of work out there.
Yeah, thank you for that, Ronan. And that's in particular, Ronan, that industry placement in 3rd year, it's over the summer, it's optional. It's a well-developed program. It's been on the go, I think, possibly 5 years now. And this is where, as teachers, you get a placement in industry for the summer, and it's a paid placement. So that tends to excite our students quite a bit, and it's very competitive. You know, so we have this for our other teacher education programs here, for our science ed programs, and a range of other teacher education programs.
I think the other thing about that is it must be music to school principals' ears to hear that the graduates coming from a teacher education program have been out in the world of work. They know what it means to communicate effectively with people, and
yeah, not just in schools, but also in work.
Correct.
Yes, absolutely. So entry requirements, the entry requirements typical for entry to university, minimum of 6 Leaving Cert subjects at grade 06 H7, and those subjects must include English or Irish and the subject maths. And the maths grade must be a minimum of 03 H7, and you have to have at least 2 subjects at grade H5. So they're standard entry requirements. The maths grade is, we do have a minimum there. That's for obvious reasons, given the mathematical content in technology and engineering in particular, even within the graphics modules, we do need you to have a certain level of maths. Question I get asked the most often is, what are the points? Because it's a new program, we have no way of knowing what the points will be. So we can only actually calculate that during the summer when the first applicants come through the CAO system. It's a 4-year program. We're hoping to offer 20 places. And the code there is DC015. And again, if you'd like more information, you can contact myself, Ronan, or Niall if you want to take a picture of those contact details, you have time now. So Colette, we're going to go back to you. We've hopefully allowed enough time for questions. You're still with us, are you?
Absolutely am. Gosh, that was quick. I didn't expect
Yes,
it to be so
yes, but
fast.
we wanted to leave that time for questions.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I hope there are some questions. There isn't any at the moment, but
Okay.
so I don't see anybody in the chat even. So if anybody wants to ask a question, please do. Here's your chance.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from some of the participants here.
Yeah. You'll be at the Spring Open Day anyway, talking about
Yes,
this
we will,
course.
of course. Yeah. And we're sometimes, you know, people might like to email instead of asking questions, you know, live or in a chat room. Ronan, I don't know if you want to say anything else about the program.
I suppose I could elaborate a little bit more in terms of the 4 streams that we will be offering. And just try and give the closer we get to offering this program, the more excited I get about these 4 streams, because we have put a lot of time into sitting down and making sure that these 4 streams are that they don't just exist on their own. So we're not producing an engineering, a technology, and a graphics teacher that is able to design. So we have a stream, individual streams that are designed, that are engineering, technology, and graphics. But we have put a lot of emphasis and a lot of effort into ensuring that the modules as they exist within each semester are fully integrated. And what's exciting about that is that the team of lecturers are working together to make sure that they all come together to be realized as a final project within each semester. So they will be group-based project work that will be done in what we are currently designing and starting to work on Resource down in Athlone, which is a bespoke technology teacher education workspace. And we're basing that on some really exciting European-based research that is based around, you know, what a contemporary dynamic learning environment for this subject area should look like. And so plenty of 3D printers, plenty of laser cutters, plenty of really innovative technologies that will allow students who are engaging in this subject area to think outside the box, come up with really cool and innovative solutions to design briefs and problems that we will pose to them, but then have the full range of technology at their fingertips so that they will be able to realize the solutions that they come up with and prototype their ideas. And we're really
Ronan, I'm just seeing a question. Yay. From Will. I am not doing design, communication, graphics for my Leaving Cert, just technology. Is that a constraint?
That's not a constraint at all. You're at an advantage because you're doing technology. So it's not a requirement at all on this program to have any of the subjects that you're actually, because like any degree program, when you come in semester 1, we will start with the basics. We will work from the fundamentals right up to, so by the time you get to, it's actually by the time you get to the end of 3rd year, you will have completed a really nice and comprehensive engineering module. It will be actually at DCU, but like semester 1 down in Athlone, we will be dealing with the basics of all of those subject areas. So you will start with the introductory content. We will be making sure that our teaching approaches are there to cater for all different levels. And so absolutely it will not be a constraint at all. The fact that you're doing technology will stand to you.
There's a question there as well from Dermot. Thank you, Dermot. How much project work is there? I'm going to there's project work in the education modules, but I think, Ronan, they're probably talking more about the specialist ones.
So. Yeah. So by its nature, our subject area, Dermot, is pretty much so obviously there's a lot of theoretical work, but a lot of the theory within our subject area can be quite abstract, and so it can be quite theoretical. So you're talking about, like, you know, the structures of materials, or you're talking about the flow of electrons in an electronic circuit. And the real way to learn about that is to actually apply your learning through project work. So most of our modules will have project work as part of the assessment of the module. And even if a module, so some of our design modules the design work that you're doing there, the theory of design that you're learning in those modules, we'll ask you to apply that in a parallel project-based module within the engineering or within the technology stream. So yes, quite a bit of project work.
And I can see another question again. It's a really important question. Thanks, Will, again for this. Is there mostly continuous assessment in the first 2 years? I can answer this, Ronan, or you can. It's a mix of both. You know, do you want to follow through? Because there are mainly 2 modules in the first 2 years. I'll let Ronan speak to that.
Yeah, it's a mix. I wouldn't say mostly. A lot of our first year modules are like 70% continuous assessment with a 30% exam, or 60% assessment with a 40% exam. The reason for that, Will, and everybody else listening in, is that to have a theoretical understanding of the fundamentals of these subject areas is critical as well. You know, so they're the theoretical understanding are the building blocks to becoming a good technologist or a good designer or a good engineer. You must have that fundamental understanding. So we do have to assess some of the learning that takes place through theory-based exams. But
it won't feel like the Leaving Cert, like you don't wait to the end of the year to do the exam. Modules are structured around a semester. Yeah. So that makes them more manageable. Would you agree with that, Ronan? Than
absolutely.
Say the Leaving Cert where you've got to wait 2 years, and at the end of 2 years you have all of these exams.
If you think about how we offer modules within this program, it's 12 weeks of learning, and then that's assessed through an exam. So it's not two years of learning that is assessed through a term and exam at the end. So yeah, and I would really hope that when you're sitting in your theoretical exams, trying to answer a question, you're thinking back to the project that you've done, because you have actually applied some of the theory that you're being asked about in the exam through your project work. And so we really see benefit in forming that link between the theory and the practical, so that hopefully answering those theoretical questions should be no problem.
And just to say, Will, I know it's not your question, but in case someone else is asking or is thinking, what happens in the last 2 years? Yeah. So it is mainly continuous assessment in the last 2 years. There are a few exams, but because you're on placement, for example, in semester 2 of 3rd and 4th year, you're obviously practicing out in school. So you won't be doing an examination, a terminal examination from that. Instead, placement tutors will be coming out from DCU and from TUS to help you, to see how you're getting on, but also to guide you on how to become a more effective teacher. There are no other questions at the moment in the chat room.
Great. Okay, I have a question. I think when we had a chat before, Charlotte, I don't know if it came up already in the conversation, but you can't be an engineer from this. This is a teacher training course.
Yeah, it's so important. The course is designed to qualify you. Again, the subject to the ruling by the Teaching Council, we have to wait until probably around June to find out the outcome from that. But the course is primarily designed to prepare you as an educator. If you are interested in engineering, you probably would be better advised to do one of the many wonderful engineering courses on offer in DCU. I'm going to also say in TUS, in interest of fairness here. But yeah, it's not designed if you want to be an engineer. It's not designed with that in mind.
Okay.
Thank you for reminding me.
No, not at all. And you went through the maths requirement as well, didn't you?
Yeah, we mentioned, that's the one requirement for the program is that level of maths. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's no further questions, but that was great. And like I said, I think I've muted myself, but if this is recorded and it will go out to all the registration people who registered for the talk today, and there was lots of interest in this course. So it will go to all of those people.
Okay,
but thank you so much. Yeah.
Thanks everyone. Enjoyed that. Thanks, Ronan.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.